What's an unhealthy obsession people have? Obsession with their social media image. A friend of mine's mother almost spends every waking hour on FB and Instagram. She is constantly updating the world on her life. My friend has had to stop sending her pics of his children because they would immediately end up on her FB. She has fallen for a number of scams, thankfully stopped by friend before she lost money. It seems the only source of validation in her life are the upvotes and likes of friends, relatives and strangers. For fucking real. I just want one fucking holiday where we don't need to pose, take a picture of the food, etc. I'm 33 and people think I'm weird for not being active on social media. I think it's weird to post daily. Social media image is pretty much the modern reputation. I know too many people that practically set up a fantasy on their social media showing how amazing their life is, but if you run into them IRL, they are incredibly miserable. They refuse to change anything or get rid of toxic behaviors because it would damage their image online. Some people are very obsessed with that image, to the point where it's not even close to reality and it's mostly just acting. You're a character in an online media. Social media was supposed to be great for keeping up with friends, building networks, etc. It devolved into some weird thing. VR was supposed to be the weird, you can be anyone, it's your fantasy, kind of thing. Even Star Trek Holodeck allowed that. I'm fine with continuing to be the goofy geeky guy that posts funny animal pics and funny memes. I'm nothing exciting. Pretty much mimics my real life. Sure, I'm not oversharing some personal details. It's more like for acquaintances. That's all the detail they get. Some people, I've heard about some crazy shit. People do get very self-obsessed with how they look on social media. They become a brand rather than an individual. And it's a huge thing. Grow your personal brand. You are your brand online. Dude. You're an online hooker. OMG, my work literally had a meeting today to talk about our LinkedIn, personal brand, and how we should promote our business through that channel. They literally suggested setting aside time weekly or bi-weekly to work on your LinkedIn posts. No, sorry, my salary does not cover social media branding for my company. 24-hour news cycles. It's good to stay involved and informed, but goddamn, if people would just turn off the news, including Reddit, I feel like 90% of our culture war would disappear overnight and we could focus on the real issues. An obsession with everything celebrities are doing. Inclusive of influencers, streamers, and any other random person with a webcam. We get mad at narcissism but go out of our way to throw money at these folks. Not everybody needs to be a brand. The overwhelming majority of us are just plain, ordinary humans, and that's okay. I see this a lot on AskReddit. A lot of fantasizing about them. Too many parasocial relationships with them. People are obsessed with youth and some people will do anything to maintain its appearance. The ironic part is that a lot of the things people do to make themselves look younger and better just makes them look worse. Work, productivity. Everybody needs a break. Not just every once in a while, but often. Almost everyone in my office grabs their lunch and eats at their desk while working. Like you literally get hour-and-a-half breaks if you want. What are you doing, lol? I always get on my phone and watch a show or YouTube while eating my lunch for the full time. Edit. And no one here does it to leave an hour earlier. Obsession with each other's lives. Seriously, just let people live as long as they're not hurting anyone. Just leave people the fuck alone. Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, videos that shorten our attention span. And YouTube is trying so hard to push shorts. Well, you can hide them, but they just start popping back up after 30 days. Pointless relationships. Settling for less just because you think you can't be alone is not healthy. I think it's even more nuanced than that, in the sense that people don't know what to truly prioritize as important for a successful relationship. In my 20s, I think of it as the biggest red flag in terms of compatibility if the person I was dating didn't share my taste in music, books, movies, etc. I went through a ton of relationships that seemingly started out great, only to fizzle or blow up because I wasn't focusing on what makes two people actually compatible, like the ability to apologize when you're wrong, the desire to learn more about your SO's interests, and a mutual understanding of what you both consider important versus stuff that really doesn't matter. My wife and I have completely different hobbies and tastes, and it's hands down the best and easiest relationship I've ever been in. I go to all of her games, she comes to shows with me, and through that mutual interest of getting to know each other more, we've grown more interested in each other's respective hobbies. I did this a long time ago, and it backfired terribly. Glad I got out of it, and you ain't kidding. I spent most of my life like this, out of one relationship straight into another. It messed up my mind on what a healthy relationship looks like. 9 years single now, and I still don't know woman shrugging light skin tone. Having to be first. It's okay if you beat me to the pump, or if you beat me to the grocery checkout line. It's okay if you get to the freeway exit before me, or pull in front of me on the highway. I'm patient, and it's a virtue. I have a ridiculously slow processing speed. I had to learn that if I am first, I probably did something wrong. I'm guilty of this and trying to make it less of a factor in my life. Driving is the worst, but I even find myself doing it in the grocery store, anywhere there's a queue. Big realization for me is that it's not the need to be first or best, but it comes from operating on the assumption that other people are insufficient. It's an unhealthy worldview, it's narcissistic, and it can be outright dangerous. Their phones. It's one thing to keep yourself busy, it's another to never let yourself be bored. Being bored is important sometimes, it makes you think, helps clear your head. Phones make it ridiculously easy to never let yourself get bored, to the point where it ain't healthy. Wow, I actually never thought of it this way. I am so guilty of never letting myself get bored literally, just changed my FKN perspective. Apathy is a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Plus boredom typically kick-starts creativity. Learned how to knit, crochet, work a camera, fix up basic home repairs, etc. all out of boredom. I believe this contributed to the demise of my marriage. He could not put the phone down for anything. I would beg for one dinner out together without it, and he absolutely could not do it. Love to hate. Some people are more defined by what they hate than what they love, and I sincerely believe that wears on anyone after a while. I've noticed a lot of subs on Reddit are just outrage farms. People may not realize it, but they're specifically going there to find stuff that'll make them angry. Other people's sex lives. Other people's lives in general. Anyway, how's your sex life? Celebrity worship. They are just normal people, guys, no different biologically than us. Professional sports. Hey, I love my own teams, but if you are rioting following a victory or loss by your team, then it is time to seek counseling. The worst is fans of opposing teams fighting each other at games. It's fucking pathetic. You can seriously get online and watch countless videos of two people fighting over schools that neither of them ever attended. Like, chill people, it's just a fucking game. The need to brag about how little rest you got between working. We get it. You got 3 hours of sleep. That sucks, but it's not the flex you think it is. Edit. I mean as in people one-upping each other for how little rest they get. Like one person saying, I got 5 hours, and another saying, 5. I only got 3 hours, etc. I know. So many people want to brag about working 12-hour days 7 days a week, but I'm thinking, who the hell wants to live that kind of life? Money isn't worth it. Alcohol seems especially prevalent with wine. Arguing with strangers on social media. But you're wrong. Know your limit. There's a subreddit with something about arguing on the internet is like wrestling a brick wall. You're not going to get anywhere. People are set in their ways. They aren't open to good discussion and taking points away. They're right, you're wrong. I love a good discussion where you go back and forth, and acknowledge and appreciate the other person and the good intended arguments. We're not arguing at that point. We're having a good discussion with opposite viewpoints and providing evidence to support our viewpoints. Celebrities, serial killers, mass murderers. I had never been into true crime beyond old Unsolved Mysteries episodes, but then I got hooked on the Idaho student murders case. I even joined all the subreddits and checked them daily, hourly if I'm being honest. I cannot believe how some people act in those subs. People post weird tributes like they knew the victims. People get insanely defensive of their theories of the crime. There were people posting Zillow photos of the inside of the murder house, with labels showing where all the roommates live. The worst was when people jumped all over some poor dude in a hoodie who just happened to be shown on a public street camera while two of the victims got food the night of the murders. Now apparently there are subs dedicated to the suspect, who some people think is cute. True crime is morbidly fascinating. But some people take it way too far. Being right all the time. Being on their phone all the time, especially while driving. I see this literally every day, despite laws against it. I constantly have to honk at people sitting at green lights, because they can't possibly be inconvenienced with their own thoughts for 2 minutes sitting at a red light. Status symbols. Now people are spending hundreds of dollars to look like Disney characters walking around in those big red dumb rubber boots. Staying distracted and always being busy. Never just being alone with ourselves. IDK, I've met me and that guy sucks. People obsess over virtual numbers like Snapchat streak or likes on Instagram photos. Keeping up with everyone else. Live your life at your own pace. Cocaine and ketamine these days, it seems.